Hey everybody, welcome back to our 5th podcast here with Beneath the Surface. It's time to get beyond the drill bit with Beneath the Surface. I'm your host, Kyle Koba, as always. Today I have with me Letty Bearden, and I know we're all familiar with the Letty from Fast and the Furious, but ours is definitely better. There's a lot of surprising things here. She's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so driving home that Pittsburgh feeling. She's a great family person, lots of family-oriented activities, kids and grandkids included, and I bet you'll be surprised, but she's a metalhead. Doesn't look like it, but here she is, Letty Bearden.
Hi everyone, Letty Bearden, Transportation and Logistics Manager in Texas. Pretty much I've been with Deep Oil a couple years now, a little over a couple years, and handle pretty much the trucking, the drivers, dealing with our big trucks, our tractors, our trailers, things like that.
Tell me a bit about your background, family, what do you do in your free time, where you went to school?
So I originally grew up in Southwest Texas, Del Rio, right by the border, little town. Pretty big family. Moved over to further north to Big Lake, Texas about 20 years ago. Actually closer to 27 years ago now. I just gave away my age. But yeah, so we've lived in Texas my whole life. 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and 4 grandkids.
So family stuff, your kids into sports, what do you do? I'm sure you're busy with that.
Yeah, so we love just going places together. My kids are grown now, so we have a lot of fun. We like to go, just wherever. We just recently went to a Dallas Cowboy game in Texas. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it was a lot of fun. We like to just do things together, One of my biggest things that I want to do with them is bring them all over here to Pittsburgh and go to a Steelers game because we're all Steeler fans. Except for the ones that married into the family, but, they'll catch on eventually.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it looks like we'll have a slightly better team next year.
I hope so. I really hope so.
So what's a typical day like in the transportation and logistics, right? What's it like being here? What are some of the challenges you got to overcome day to day?
Well, a typical day, basically what I'm in charge of is booking all the trucks for any time we move a unit from place to place, whether it's coming to the yard, going out to another pad, dealing with customers. Currently, we have 5 drivers in Midland, which is pretty neat because I started out with only 2 over there. So now we're up to 5. We just currently hired our 5th one here in Pennsylvania. What we try to do is cover most of our moves with the Deep Oil drivers. Obviously, we can't move everything. So that's where third-party companies come in. And then, so we book the whole move. We get the unit moved with all the equipment, and that's pretty much the gist of my job, that part of moving everything, making sure everything goes well and dealing with all that comes with that. So I think my biggest challenge just right now is just the trucking costs. Like, it's expensive to run a truck. Not just internally, but also the cost that other people charge us to move our equipment. So that's our biggest challenge is, I guess, cut those costs and not bill our customers a lot of money for that. Plus also trying to make some money on our side with our Deep Oil drivers. Also finding drivers, finding good drivers to be part of our Deep Oil culture and, just do a good job for us. That's a big challenge too, is finding the good ones.
I could believe that hands down, just, meeting the guys and new hires, the equipment we've had to move, and just, it's hard to move that stuff. It's heavy, it's big, especially down there in Texas on those lease roads.
Those lease roads are brutal over there. Yeah, they are.
We got hills here, but they're lease roads there, man. If you've ever been to Texas, you ever driven those lease roads, you're going to need a bacchiotomy after a week.
Yeah. One of my challenges is also just, getting people to realize that we're tied down to our DOT laws. So a driver can only drive so many hours a day, and we have to take breaks. So meaning we can't get a unit from here to there within 24 hours just because we can't drive the 24 hours. Right. We have to take a break. Got to keep it legal. And
I've had to deal with that service rig side. North Dakota was the worst for us. They tried to get us to drive because on the county roads, they're not real roads there. Yeah. It's like Texas, they're dirt. Oh, you can move it at night. No, you can't see anything in those things. Yeah. So there's a lot of hills you got to get with trucking and logistics, stuff like that. Outside of work, give us some insight. What do you like to do?
I'm kind of a concert freak. I love going to concerts. Honestly, in my younger years, I guess I didn't really do that a whole lot. I didn't get out a lot. I didn't do it. So once I started going to concerts, it's just been like my thing. Every summer I try, we've already been looking at concerts for this coming year. Haven't found any really good ones that I'm interested in yet, but that's kind of our thing. I love listening to music. I think I've pretty much seen who I could that hasn't died, I've missed some of the great ones, but I think I've seen My last bucket list was Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Got to see him last year. I guess I don't really have a whole lot of hobbies other than that. I spend a lot of time with my kids. I like to read. Pretty, laid back, just hang out with the kids and have a good time.
Who was your first concert? Do you remember, or do you?
Oh gosh, my first concert probably back in the day growing up in the border was Selena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before she died, a long time ago. It was a little concert. It was when she was still small. My first big concert was probably Knotfest. Slipknot is, one of my first biggest concerts that I got to see. A lot of people don't know that I'm kind of a...
Yeah, no, heavier metal
really
and stuff.
Look like a metal, I guess is what I'm told. But that's kind of my genre that I like to. But I'm kind of all over the place with that,
I totally relate to that, but I'll tell you, my first concert, you're gonna laugh, was Jimmy Buffett.
Really?
My parents took me. So I was probably like 12 or so, and somebody canceled on them, and I got on the Jimmy Buffett ride and took the tour bus down with them.
That's
so I got to go with all the drunk old people. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you've been at Depot for about 2.5 years now. What's been your experience? What's good things, bad things? What keeps you here?
So nothing but good things to say. I feel this is probably the first company that I've worked with that it just feels like, and I know it sounds a little cliche or whatever, but it does feel like family. Like, everybody's actually interested in you as a person. I've worked for smaller companies before, and I know Deepwell isn't like a huge company now, but it is a little bit bigger than when I started, and I don't feel like that has changed. I feel like it stayed consistent. It's not like when you start at a job and, you're made to feel like family when when you come in and do your orientation, then after that, that goes away. That hasn't happened. And I think what keeps me here is honestly just seeing how people are promoted. I've seen several people start out as, like the office admin and just move up from that position. So I think that just says a lot about the company, that they're willing to promote people that are already here and help them grow.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good theme here, 100%. Like if you look at our training department, or you look at even like Nick Folloretto, who runs the trucking up here. He came from the field, was an operator. He then was like kind of just a truck driver, and now he's the manager. And it's a lot of the field guys, and I think that's driven from the top. You think Brian and Sean and all those guys, Tarini, they all came from the field. So it's pretty cool to see them.
Yeah, I remember hearing that too. I was a little bit impressed actually with that, because I met Brian when I first came up for onboarding, and when I found out that he had been out in the field, I'm like, that's pretty neat. That you could move up from that to the position that he's in now.
Now that we know a typical day in the life, and we've already got into this, the kind of music you listen to, what gets you amped up for the day? Like, what do you listen to on the way into work, or what gets you through the day?
I do listen to a lot of metal, but I also listen to some country. Sometimes I just need to like tone it down a little bit. Just kind of, I pull up the Texas country and just kind of chill out. But yeah, mostly if you look through my, on repeat stuff on Spotify, it goes anywhere from Slipknot to country music, Coetzel, things like that. And then sometimes I'll throw some Spanish music in there just to keep it, keep it flowing. But
I mean, I have a semi-long commute, but it's nice to have that time, because you do get to de-stress. How long is your commute?
It's really not that long. It's about, from my house in Midland to the yard, it's maybe 20 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic.
Yeah, but that's still enough time to de-stress and not take work home with you, and then to get ready for work. I mean, you got to have those short commutes. When I worked on jobs and it was like a 10-minute drive to pad, you're not ready for work.
No.
And then when you get that 10-minute drive, you're still thinking about pad when you get back to the hotel and things like that when I was in the field. So what are some of your goals this year that you want to accomplish in your role here at Deepwell Services?
Well, we recently hired Sarah. She's going to be the dispatcher here in Pennsylvania. So my next task is hiring somebody in Texas to actually take over my position as dispatch. And once I get that done and find the right person for that, I can move into the more management stuff. And actually, I guess our biggest goal again is to try to, save the money with the depot trucks, try to make the money with the depot trucks, and just grow the department. My goal is to, have more trucks, have more drivers, and just be able to run all this stuff internally and not have to depend on the third party. I feel like us moving our own things, we take better care of them. I just think that having Deepwell people move Deepwell stuff is going to be what we should be doing.
I can totally see that. It's always more when it's in your backyard and it's yours. And those are our big toys that make us all of our money, gives us all of our fun, right? And keeps us going here. So
We want to take care of it.
That's right, 100%. So we're wrapping up our Q&A section. We've got one last question. What is one thing that most people don't know about you?
Pretty open with everybody. I guess one thing, I actually, before I started in logistics and everything, I've been doing this for about 11 years now, working in the oil field, doing all of this. I actually used to be an activity director at a nursing home. My whole day would be like, playing bingo and, organizing birthday parties and buying cupcakes and doing the whole thing. It was a totally different world coming into the oil field. So I think that might help me manage my drivers a little better.
I was going to say that.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that I came from a little bit of a medical background, not medical, but, working with people and just having, doing the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's what I am very well versed in activities directors and nursing. So my mother was a nursing director of the county facilities. She had the lovely pleasure of going in and trying to fix them up, and then once she got them going, they moved her. So she finally got somewhere that she wanted to be. Well, not that, she finally said, I'm not fixing another one.
Right.
But yeah, so I volunteered there quite a bit. And anytime I ever did anything bad, I was stickering or I was helping with the activities. Yeah. That was my punishment / you have to come to work with me now. That's a pretty fun job, I'm sure.
It really was fun. And that, my kids used to come help me. They were still little, in the middle school kind of age, and they would help me decorate for the parties, help me, do the bingo stuff and help me pass out prizes. And, we did the Easter egg hunts and the Christmas stuff with Santa, and they were all a part of all that thing. I don't know if I would go back to do that now. I don't know if I would be able to, but it was a fun time. And I did it the activity director portion was probably only for about 3 years, but I was in that whole field for about 13 years. So.
But I think you landed good here with Depot.
I think so too. I think it was a good choice.
So now we're gonna do the rapid fire question section, and I am terrible at this. I'll tell you, I'm 1 for 4. So everybody's beat me except last time I beat Dan Selk by 1 question. What we're gonna do some trivia here with Kahoot. Whoever wins gets 50 swag points awarded to your account, so you can get some nice deep wealth stuff here. So we'll grab our phones and we'll get Kahoot set up. Which HCU was the first rig to complete a well in the Permian Basin?
That is 9.
I went with the oldest. That was just a guess. I like how it doesn't show on Saturn. There you go. Which famous actor is from Midland, Texas? Oh, I guess it's Midland.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson. Am I not supposed to say the answer out loud?
No, because you'll give it to me, but I picked McConaughey anyway. Okay. I mean, you can't go wrong with How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Can I give you the wrong answer?
Which HCU is named after the Betsy Ross flag? I like that.
I'm going to go with 29.
We were both wrong.
Really?
It is 16.
16. Okay. I'm still winning.
Yes, you are. I've got to get the next 2. What is the Texas GM Cam Eddles' favorite sports car?
I should know this.
No, it was a Corvette. I went with Charger. We both missed.
I knew it was. I had no idea. It's gonna get me for that.
Corvettes are overrated. Everybody has one. You got to be from Michigan to like Vipers, though. All those guys, they're into the Vipers for some reason. What was one dish being served at the 2020 Permian Christmas?
I was there.
How is that? That's not even fair. I'm going with this one. I said rattlesnake. I mean, I got 0 this time. This is the worst I've ever done, like I said. But look, I still got 2nd place.
Well, yeah. It's not bad. Nice. I did have an advantage on the last one, though.
Yeah, that was the tiebreaker, and I had no idea. I just went with they got snakes down there. All I see the guys trying to catch them all the time.
Texans just eat rattlesnakes on the daily.
Hey, I hear it tastes like chicken. So, Letty, you have 150 swag points. Those will get awarded to you.
Great.
Get yourself something fancy from the deep
Yeah.
store. Letty, thank you for coming to our podcast, Beneath the Surface here. Thanks for joining us up here in Pennsylvania. Like you said, you got here on a good weather week. It was snowing last week and cold. Learned a lot about you. Would have never guessed you were a metalhead. Never. In a million years would have thought that. First concert was pretty cool. The Selena thing, we learned a lot about that in our Spanish list. That was kind of cool to see that kind of connection there. I guess that's the era and the concerts and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool that you're a concert goer and that's your big goal. Very, very family oriented down there in Texas.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool to have you up here. It was great to have you on the show here with Beneath the Surface.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad that this worked out with this trip. I was a little nervous, but just thanks for having me. It's great.
We'll see you next time to get beyond the drill bit with Beneath the Surface. That one was good.